So I did my paper on the Gwich'in Council International. So just a brief outline. So just gonna do a quick introduction, and then kind of talk about the focus of the organization in the Arctic and the contributions to the Arctic Council that they have. So just a quick introduction. So it's a permanent participant on, so Gwich'in Council International is a permanent participant on the Arctic Council. It was established in 1999 and it represents 9,000 Gwich'in. It's governed by a volunteer board of directors, with 4 of them being in Alaska and 4 of them being in Canada. There's 1 full-time employee located at the headquarters, which are in Yellowknife, Canada. So it's Canada and Alaska, and so according to the Gwich'in Council International's website, the Arctic Council is the only international organization where Indigenous peoples have a seat at the decision-making table alongside national governments. So this is really important to them to be able to use this platform to support Gwich'in communities and ensure their voices are being heard on an international level. So a little bit of geography about the organization. So the Gwich'in Council International represents Gwich'in communities from the Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Alaska. So the Gwich'in Tribal Council is located in the Northwest Territories. The Vuntut, sorry if I said that wrong, First Nation is a First Nation, self-governing First Nation located in the Yukon. And then the Council of Athabascan Tribal Government is located in, represents the Gwich'in communities in Alaska. So some of the politics of the organization. So the politics of the organization include sustainable development, resilience, and healthy community. More specifically, each representative body focuses on different areas of interest. So for example, the Vuntut Gwich'in First Nation is like I said, it's a self-governing First Nation and focuses on their responsibility for the general welfare of their citizens and to provide for the good government of our communities, lands, and resources. Similarly, the Gwich'in Tribal Council represents the beneficiaries of the Gwich'in Land Claim Settlement Act, which is in the Northwest Territories of Canada. And some of their objectives are to preserve the rights, interests, and benefits of the Gwich'in in reference to their use, ownership, and management of lands, waters, and resources in the Gwich'in settlement area. And then lastly, the Council of Athabascan Tribal Government in Alaska was created to support the tribes in the Yukon Flats region of Alaska by providing a unified voice. And they aim to protect their tribal resources, support tribal powers, and aid in economic development, promote the welfare of each member, and maintain justice for all. So the Arctic focus, so the Gwich'in Council International focuses on a variety of topics concerning the Arctic. So some of these topics include renewable energy, environmental protection, food production, and furthering research. Based on the information that I got from reading their website, it's pretty clear that renewable energy is a top priority for the Gwich'in Council International right now, and they have a lot of projects that are related to that. And with their focus on renewable energy, their hope is to provide more energy security, more economic benefits, and reduce the use and reliance on fossil fuels and other non-renewable energy resources. So one of their more well-known projects is their Diverging from Diesel project. So the Diverging from Diesel project, and with this project, It was commissioned by the Gwich'in Council International, and it was carried out by Intergroup Consultants and Lumos Energy. And they looked at measuring the costs related to diesel, electricity, and heat in non-grid areas. So their research kind of related to direct and indirect social costs related associated with using diesel for electricity and heating purposes in more remote northern areas. And then another project that's definitely worth noting is the Sustainable Energy Toolkit. And so this toolkit serves as a resource for communities to use when they're creating their own energy guidelines. And similarly, they have a good practice recommendations for environmental impact assessment and public participation in the Arctic, which aims to ensure that environmental concerns in the Arctic are at the forefront of large scale economic projects through the use of good practices and public participation. And so their goal with this is to help build a network of Arctic environmental impact assessment actors. And then a third project that, sorry, reading the wrong one. So then the next thing, so another focus is food production. So through their project as the Arctic is a food producing region, they assess the potential for increased production and added value of food from the Arctic, with the overarching aim of improving economic and social conditions of Arctic communities. So their goal is to identify ways in which food production and value can be increased in the Arctic. And then lastly, they place a large emphasis on continuing research. So by doing this, they want to, the objective is to, according to their website, the Gwich'in Council International says the objective of this project is to investigate, compile, and identify the research of priorities of Gwich'in communities in order to assist in directing research agencies and funding towards those priorities. So through that project, they hope that they'll assume more of a proactive role in identifying areas of need for further research and development within their communities. So then their contributions to the Arctic Council. So they have two working groups that they focus a lot of their efforts on. The first one being the Sustainable Development Working Group, and then the Conservation of Arctic Flora and Fauna. So the Sustainable Development Working Group was established in 1998, and it focuses on promoting environmental, economic, and social conditions of Indigenous peoples in the Arctic. So they meet twice a year, and the chairmanship position rotates between each of the Arctic states every 2 years. And then within that, there are two expert groups. So the first one is the Arctic Human Health Expert Group, and then the Social, Economic, and Cultural Expert Group. And then, so the last one here, or the next one here is the conservation of Arctic flora and fauna. So this working group focuses on species and habitat management within the Arctic. According to the Arctic Council website, this group provides a mechanism to develop common responses on issues of importance for the Arctic ecosystem, such as development and economic pressures, conservation opportunities, and critical commitments. So the conservation of Arctic flora and fauna is governed by a chair and management board, as well as an international secretariat. And through their efforts, they address conservation of Arctic biodiversity and support initiatives to ensure sustainability in the Arctic. And then there's quite a few expert groups underneath that, and they're all targeted at specific areas of interest. And they have these expert groups, according to the website, to ensure that scientists, conservationists, and managers have a forum to promote, facilitate, and coordinate conservation management and research activities of mutual concern. So some of these groups I have listed here. So the Flora Group, the Circumpolar Seabird Group, the Circumpolar Protected Areas Network, and then the Circumpolar Biodiversity Monitoring Programs, which looks at the different, areas of marine life, so fresh coastal and terrestrial areas. And then they also work on numerous assessments regarding the health of the environment, as well as species in the Arctic. And so through these assessments, the conservation of Arctic flora and fauna, according to their website, aims to describe the current state of Arctic ecosystems and wildlife using the best available scientific and traditional ecological knowledge. And then they use this data as baselines for future research on a multitude of levels. So just to wrap it up here, so I enjoyed learning about the Gwich'in Council International. It was super enlightening and definitely helped me, understand a bit more about the Arctic Council and see, what topics are of interest to the organization and where they kind of concentrate most of their effort. Like I said, a lot of it is, protecting the environment and renewable energy. And then, so it's, a very important part. The Gwich'in Council International is a very important part of the Arctic Council. And they have as a permanent participant, they have that really unique position to represent over 9,000 Gwich'in in the Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Alaska. And through this international representation, they're really able to give a voice to their people and support healthy living and resiliency within those communities. They also have I think it's really interesting, the dynamic between the international governments and permanent participants and how they work alongside together, to protect, monitor, and implement sustainable changes for the future of the Arctic. So that's all I have. Thank you for watching.